What's up, everybody? Ozark Mountain Ranger coming to today with a ship build that I personally think is the best overall build I could possibly come up with. I'm currently sitting at level 58. I don't have all the ship modules unlocked just yet, but what I have come up with is a pretty killer ship. Will handle just about anything, and it'll hold all your crap. And it is not this version of the Razor Leaf. This is a high combat build that I came up with. Dogfighter. I like to call it the Hornet build. And we're going to scrap basically everything on this except for the specialty parts. So, save our fuel tanks because those get reused. I really like this fuel tank, the Dogstar Atlas Stage 30s. Just high capacity for size. Great little fuel tanks. We're going to keep our Assurant Class C, get rid of these engines. We're also going to hold on to this RD3000 Beta Grav Drive. It is a Class B grav drive, but it has got a great output rating on it. So we're going to hold on to that. And don't forget to keep the conduction grid. I have completed the pirate missions already, and you can lose your comm spike and your conduction grid if you're not careful. If you notice under here in the equipment, it isn't available anymore, and if you were to save the build without them equipped, they for some reason now disappear. So we're going to avoid that at all costs. So the first thing we want is the Stability Probe Bay. I'm just going to set it to the side here. And this is going to be the furthest point on the ship. Next piece, we're going to go for habs. And Nova Galactic really has well-appointed habs for what they are. This first one that we want is the workshop. So workshop in here. Then we're going to grab the infirmary. Just set it off to the side right now. We're also going to grab the armory and set it to the side. And we're going to grab the Hope Tech all in one berth and set it to the side. So the next thing we need is going to be the Teo bottom storeroom. Top. So 1x1 storeroom bottom B is what we want. We'll set it right here and go ahead and attach our infirmary. If I don't delete it on accident, we'll attach the infirmary. The next thing we actually want is going to be the top storeroom, this one right here, and we're going to set it to the side. It's going to go with those here in just a second. And the last thing we need out of habs is going to be the Hope Tech Hab spine. We need one there, and 1, 2, 3 of them here. We'll attach this one here just to have it. Now the next thing is our fuel tanks. Number 1 and number 2, and they're gonna just hide down here inside the middle of the craft. So next I want my gear. We're going to be using the NG20s, but we're going to be using this third variation, the wide variant. And we're just going to immediately start with one here, and 3 directly across the back here to start supporting our ship. So next we're going to do the cockpit. And the cockpit I'm using is the Cabot. I currently have the C4 unlocked. Hopefully there's a C4X when I hit level 60. I don't know yet. But that's just going to go there. So we can go ahead and move these into position. And just exactly kind of how I had it. The all-in-one berth goes there. And the armory goes here. So we're still missing a lot of space. We need a docker. For this, we're going to use the Connect Pro. And it's going to go on the back portion of the infirmary here. So now we can start adding in quite a bit of structural because we're going to need it. So first things first, we'll just set things out while we're here. We're going to need one equipment plate. We're going to duplicate that multiple times later on. We're also going to need the radiator. We're going to make 4 of those later on. 1 spine. One of these C spine 4s. And then the last one is this E4 spine. So we're just going to set those all to the side. We need to get down here to the Nova Galactic parts. And we're going to get these Nova cowlings right here. Set that to the side. We're going to duplicate it. And set out the thruster arrays. We'll use that in just a minute. So here's where the first part we're actually going to need is these. We're going to set 2 to start. 1, 2. We'll come back to those in just a minute. We need 1, 2, 3, and 4 of those Stroud cowlings. And just 2 of these, 1 and 2. We can go ahead and apply this port thruster on here, copy it, flip it, stick it on the other side. We'll go ahead and start duplicating these, 1, 2, 3. So the next thing that we need, in all honesty, go ahead and add these here, is going to be the reactor. Go ahead and get these on here too, just so we have the bottom of our ship framed out. So let's go ahead and get our reactor here. For this particular build, the biggest reactor that I have available is this sheared flow making 40, and that will actually perfectly fit right in here. Now for cargo, we actually need to add quite a few cargo spots. So the first thing we're going to grab is going to be this Galleon S204, and we need 6 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, if you're going to be doing any smuggling, this build will actually support 2 additional of those galleons, but I like to use these and flip them, shielded bays, and that just gives me 640 shielded cargo space. So the next thing is going to be to put in, and this is going to be ridiculous, we're going to put in another row of landing gear, and the fastest way to do that is just come down here, copy these 3, duplicate, and right back there. Now we're going to grab this grab drive right here. We're going to throw the shield on right on top of it, and I'm going to just copy 2 of these cargoes, put them back here, and now we have a maximum cargo capacity of 12,800. So we're still not quite there yet. We got a lot of parts and pieces left that I need to use. So let's go ahead and get engines in here. So for the engines on this particular ship, we don't have to worry about speed too much, but we do need a lot of maneuvering thrust because we have a lot of cargo. So I have these Poseidon DT230s. They make 11,600 maneuvering thrusts, but they only have 130 for top speed. And we're just going to throw 3 of them across the back here. So the next thing that we need is these radiators. I have to put 4 of them on here. So 1, 2. Next is going to be these spines. I'm just going to dupe it. That's immediately going to be followed by one of these. I'm going to flip it in. And this is just me decorating the ship and making it look different. It doesn't have to be like this. You can do it any way you want, so long as it supports pretty much all the same modules. And then I'm just going to copy, paste these radiators in here. So something I added the last time I built this, I put an extra plate there, mounted the comm spike over here just because it makes it look kind of like an intake for the reactor there. And the next thing you want to do is make sure you put a plate on top of each one of those stanchions. Now I'm going to grab my conduction grid and my scan jammer. I like to put them to the inside there. You can really put them anywhere, but that's just my opinion. That's where I like to put them. So the next and final thing on this is going to be the weapons. With a reactor power of 40, you can actually create a pretty substantial setup here. So let's get into our weapons real quick. So I've got quite a few weapons unlocked. I'm still working on unlocking weapons. I'm not there yet, but I found this configuration works best. So we're going to get these PB300 auto turrets, and I want to flip one facing forwards. If I can never get it to the top of the ship, one forwards, duplicate it, one backwards on this side. And we get up here to our Dragon 261 laser turret, and I'm just going to do exact opposites with it. I like one on top there, facing forwards, one over here, facing backwards, and the last weapon I'm going to use is going to be the semi-auto version Marauder 115N railgun, and that's going to go right here. So weapon 0 you always want to apply to something that's not a turret. The other two does not really matter which order you put them in. You can't pull the trigger to fire them. So, and that does max out our equipment power at 40. So last thing I want to do, I want to recolor the ship. I just like going with a straight gray paint job, so I'm just going to select all. And don't forget to hit the button to save your ship. So now that that's done, we're just going to pop out and I'm going to give you an interior tour. And maybe we'll do something else. We'll see. So I do love the way this is set up. Yeah. The whole reason behind this, everything about the ship is set up feng shui. I hate ladders in these ships. So there are absolutely no ladders in this ship whatsoever. First thing you walk in, nice wide open space for your workshop. Come into the storeroom here. Now, when these shelves populate, there should be some stuff like food items. Come in here to the infirmary. You got your pharmaceutical and your workbench, and here's your hatch. Everything's right there together. Come through the passageway, up the stairs, and I also like that there's there's only 4 doors in the entire ship. 5 doors, maybe, tops. So you come down this long passageway with the window leads up. You got your Nova Galactic Armory, which is the only armory to have mannequin cases. And then on this side, we have our Hope Tech berthing. Has 2 racks, 4 racks, toilet, and most importantly, the galley for making food. So this ship literally has one of every workstation, and that makes it quite perfect. So we're going to go ahead and get her in the air. Alright, now this is where I have to stop and save real quick. Because we're going to do something naughty. Oh no. Come on. Give me a lock. We're just going to piss these guys off just enough to make this work. Alright. Time to rock and roll. We're just going to let the turrets do their job, and we'll see how many kills we can get.
Their shields have been knocked down. Target has lost their grab drive. They cannot jump away.
I took a pretty good hit there.
Grab drive has been compromised.
I didn't have any power on the grab drive anyway, so that's not much of a deal.
I'm not backing down.
Enemy shields are down. Enemy has lost their grab drive.
And I know my shields are down, but it's a little less dangerous for me than it is for everybody else. With all the shield bonuses that I currently have, my shields are currently rated at 2,560.
Look alive! I'm dead!
We've taken out their grab drive. We've knocked out their shield.
Look alive!
Our target shields are down. Target's grab drive is. We have disabled the enemy's engines.
Grab drive offline! We're not jumping out!
Critical damage. We have disabled their shields.
It's not a terrible dogfighting ship. I mean, the turrets do quite a bit of damage. They do make this quite simple.
Direct hit to their grab drive. Target shields are down. Their grab drive is crippled. They're not. They lost shield. Hit them now. Target's grab drive has been. Enemy shield system. Enemy propulsion down. They should be much easier to hit now.
So that's pretty much it. I mean, the ship is just absolutely insane, the amount of destruction that it can cause. And that is mostly due to the weapon setup. You can actually switch
Grab drive
the
is
lasers
functional.
out and switch to all PB300s, and it works pretty good. It's just personal preference. I add the lasers too, so it takes their shields off just a little bit faster. Reduces the amount of time on target for killing enemies. So that is my version of the perfect ship. Please feel free to like and subscribe. Trying to do more builds just of different types, but this is right now the ship that I intend on building every new game plus just to get me through. 12,800 is more than enough cargo. I've got like 30 helmets and 40 spacesuits and 30 packs and over 200 resources inside of this thing, and I'm only at 9,000 cargo. So it should be more than reasonable for anyone's build. And as you saw, it does handle quite well. So, until next time.